Paula Harvey, our Vice President, and Angela is me here from the Cy-Fair Chamber, and we're here today with Jackie Bachmeier. And she's the owner of Evolution Fitness and Wellness, and she runs it with her husband, Jason. And Jackie, how have you been?
I'm doing really, really well. Thanks for asking. Staying pretty busy here.
Yay, that's what we want to hear for sure.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the challenges you faced during the COVID-19 pandemic, and tell us about, you did a really unique fundraiser to help other businesses. So tell us a little bit about that too.
Yeah, so the beginning of COVID back in March for us was pretty challenging. My husband Jason had been kind of on me about taking things virtual and expanding our reach to a virtual community and recording some of our workouts to share with people, and I was really resistant to that. And then we got hit with mandatory, you have to close. And you know, I had 123 members at that time that I felt still needed me, you know, now more than ever. And so we had to pivot pretty quickly to a virtual programming, and we did that for, I think our last in-studio session was like March 18th, and then we reopened May, I don't know, May something, I don't remember the date. And so we, you know, that was challenging, and paying rent and having, I've got 2,000 square feet of studio space, and it was pretty much empty with a TV in the middle. And we were doing all of our same schedule, but we were doing it virtually. And it was a little bit challenging because we do have a population that ranges from their mid-30s all the way up to 89 is our oldest client right now, who, by the way, is still training with us and still training virtually with us. It was challenging getting some of those older clients who weren't really familiar with the technology onto Zoom and that kind of thing, but it's been working, and we're still doing it. We right now have about 21 sessions a week that we train virtual clients. My mother-in-law is in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area. She trains with us 3 times a week. And then we have about 36 sessions in studio, in person, in studio a week. So we stay pretty busy.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, you really pivoted well. And you did it so fast to start up virtual in May. I mean, it's really creative. We give you applause for that.
Well, we started actually, I think our last session was a Friday morning at 9 o'clock. And by the next Monday morning, we were running our virtual sessions. I really had no idea what I was doing. I hadn't even really used Zoom before. So there was a lot of trial and error with, you know, how to make the sessions work, like where they could see me, because Zoom picks up the mic from whoever's making the most noise. And so there were challenges with all of that. And coaching virtually is actually very challenging because you have to be able to cue people the right way. And I can only see them in that one dimension. You know, we're in the studio, I can walk around and be cueing and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of challenges. It's not, you know, I think the fitness industry is looking at online training as like the next great thing. And it is, because you can be in Houston, Texas and train somebody in Australia if the time zone works. Wow. But it's hugely challenging if you're somebody that is crazy about posture and form. And we're very concerned about that here at our gym. That's our focus, is helping people have better posture, use good form, use their optimal posture and movement so that they can move injury-free, right? Because the workout is supposed to make you feel better at the end of the day, not worse. So if you leave me and you're feeling pain, that's not the goal. We didn't do our job. And I think that's challenging in a virtual environment.
That's good. We can tell health and wellness is first thing, and you are so passionate about your business. We love it. Thank you for being a chamber member for so long. We're so excited to do this video today. I know that you had mentioned a while back, and we want you to highlight that new machine you have. Tell everybody about that, because that's awesome.
Yeah, the pandemic made a lot of businesses have to pivot and rethink how they were doing business. And I had wanted a 3D body composition machine for a long time, but they're very expensive. And so I just happened to reach out to the rep for Staiku, which is the name of our machine. It's a Staiku 3D composition machine. And what it allows me to do is put you on a platform that rotates very slowly in front of a stand with an infrared beam. And it really maps you and measures you from head to toe. And it allows us to get really nice information, not just what your bicep measurement is or your thigh measurement, but also bone mass, lean muscle mass, and body fat. And then it helps us identify the type of body fat that you're carrying. So visceral fat is that fat that is in and around our organs. It's the hardest body fat to lose because it's under the muscle and around the organs, where visceral fat, I'm sorry, I have that, visceral fat is around the organs. Subcutaneous fat is under your skin and generally above the muscle. And so you can typically grab hold of subcutaneous fat, where visceral fat, you can't. And visceral fat's that's a health risk. Like if you're carrying a lot of that, it puts you at a higher risk for heart attack, stroke, diabetes, some of those types of things. So this machine is awesome because in less than a minute, I can do a full scan and get a lot of really good information. And then we can set up an exercise program and a nutrition program, and maybe in 4 to 6 weeks, have you come back and do another scan. And then I can overlay those 2 scans and see very specifically where the changes are happening in the body. So a lot of times, especially for women, we get very caught up in scale weight, right? Oh, I put 4 pounds on. So I did my scan 20 days apart with very little dietary change, mostly just adding workouts. And in 20 days, I put 4 pounds of scale weight on, so it went up, but I lost body fat and increased my lean muscle. And that's exactly what we want to happen. Not necessarily that scale weight goes up, but that we're switching that body fat for lean muscle. So it's a great machine because I can email you a report that you can literally take to your doctor and go, here's my stuff.
That's awesome.
So when the doctor goes, you need to be exercising more, you can go, well, I am, and here's my numbers, and this is how things are changing. That's great. I couldn't have gotten that machine if the company hadn't made changes because of COVID.
So you are a very community-minded person. Tell us about a fundraiser you did when COVID-19 started.
Yeah.
For what you did. That's awesome.
So I have a great friend up in Nova Scotia by the name of Matt Benvey, and he runs a huge boot camp up there. And he did this challenge in his community where he basically had people come in and join for a donation amount. And then using that donation amount, he bought gift cards from businesses in the community. And then throughout the challenge, he essentially gave those gift cards back to people that had joined so that they could go out and use those gift cards to support small businesses at a very critical time. And so I basically did a spin on that as well. Mine was a little bit more education based with a coaching app that we use here at my gym. And we basically did the same thing. And I think we raised, I don't know, $1,600 to $1,800 that I was able to give back to folks that had met various benchmarks in that challenge, and then spend that money in with business partners that we have here in the community, people that I had met through the chamber, but then also just small businesses that I've gotten to know, that I patron myself, that I knew were really having a hard time. It wasn't the goal that I wanted. I was hoping for a lot more, but it helped. I think it helped people at a critical time, and that was really the outcome goal.
I just think it's wonderful. Every little bit helps, especially at that time when everything was being shut down. You didn't know what people were going through. So I'm sure it was very helpful. So.
Yeah, well, we had fun doing it, and I don't know, maybe we'll make that an annual thing, even if COVID isn't a thing, right? Where we can just do things to support. because I don't think this is over. I mean, even in terms of if we get a grasp on COVID itself and the numbers and how it's impacting people, I think businesses are going to be impacted. 2021 is going to be challenging for a lot of people, because I think there's some businesses that are just kind of coming off the, like we've been trying to make it work, and we're just not able to recover fast enough. And, I just don't have anything else that I can put into it. We've been very fortunate that I don't think that's where we're going to be at all in 2021, but I know there's some people out there that probably could use that support. So maybe we'll do it again on a different scale.
Sounds great. Well, thank you, Jackie, for everything you do. Thank you very much for being a chamber member. You've hosted a lot of our networking breakfasts, and it's just been awesome. So
I'm hoping we get to do that again, Angela. Like, I love the virtual thing because, like everything, you can just roll out of bed and log onto your computer and network. You don't have to drive anywhere, but I really do miss seeing everybody in person. So I'm hoping that in July, we'll be able to have you guys back in here.
Well, we're going to keep our fingers crossed.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Always fun to be there too. It's great. Thank you, Jackie, for everything you're doing in the community and all of that. We miss you too, miss seeing you in person. And if there's anything we can help you with, and stay in touch.
I will. Absolutely. Thanks you guys for having me today.